Phylum Annelida. Let's learn phylum Annelida. Phylum Annelida is having metameric segmentation and they may be aquatic, means marine and freshwater, or terrestrial living beings. They are free living and sometimes parasitics, means their habitat is marine and freshwater, or sometimes they are terrestrial, means living on land, and sometimes they are free living and they may be parasitic. Parasitic means what? They used to live in intestine of human beings, means they used to make harm to human beings for their food, so they may be parasitic. They exhibit organ system level of body organization and bilateral symmetry. So they are having organ system level of body organization and body is bilateral symmetry. They show bilateral symmetry because of what? Whenever we are going to pass a plane in between their body, then it divides into two equal halves in single plane, so it is called as bilateral symmetry. So they are showing the bilateral symmetry. They are triploblastic. What is meant by triploblastic? Triploblastic means they are made up of three germinal layers: ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Ectoderm is present outside, mesoderm in middle and endoderm inside, means three layers: ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. So they are triploblastic. Metamerically segmented and coelomate animals. Metamerically segmented means what? They have segmentation on their body and they are segmented, so they are called metamerically segmented. And coelomate animals. What is meant by coelomate animals? The animals which possess three germinal layers with mesoderm, it is called as coelomate animals. Means they are having true coeloms. The example is Annelida. Their body surface is distinctly marked out into the segments or metamers. Hence the phylum name is Annelida. Why the name of this phylum Annelida is given? Because their body is distinctly marked out with segments or metamers. Hence it's named as Annelida. In Latin, annulus means little ring over the body surface. So the name is Annelida. See the figure 4.11. They are given the examples of A is Nereis and B is Hirudina. Hirudina is also called as leech. It's blood sucking leech. So see example of Nereis. See how metabolic segmentation is shown, how they are having segments on their body parts. So they are called as Annelida because of this metameric segmentation. Next is they possess longitudinal and circular muscles which help in locomotion. These annelids are having longitudinal and circular muscles, and these longitudinal and circular muscles help them in locomotion. Next, aquatic annelids like Nereis possess lateral appendages, parapodia, which help in swimming. So we have seen that longitudinal and circular muscle was helping for locomotion, and in aquatic annelids, means those annelids which are living in water, in that Nereis is having lateral appendages like parapodia, and this parapodia is helpful for swimming. So they may ask question from Annelida, what is the use of parapodia? So parapodia is used for swimming, and they are having closed circulatory system is present. We have seen circulatory system has of two types, open type and closed type. In that we have learned about closed type. In closed type, blood, whenever the heart pumps the blood, that blood is carried to the various organ via arteries, capillaries and veins. So it is called as closed circulatory system, and whenever the blood is pumped from the heart, it is directly poured into the organs, so it is called as open type of circulation. So in annelids there is closed circulatory system is present. Next, nephridia, singular nephridium help in osmoregulation and excretion. They may ask a question from this annelida, what is the use of nephridia? So it help in osmoregulation and excretion in human beings, kidney and nephrons. In kidney there is millions of nephrons, and that nephrons is used for osmoregulation and excretion. Same here in annelid, nephridia helps in osmoregulation and excretion. Next is neural system consists of paired ganglia connected by lateral nerves to double ventral nerve cord. So this is the most important point from annelida. They are having well developed neural system, and it consists of paired ganglia, and this ganglia is connected to the lateral nerves by double ventral nerve cord. Okay, next, Nereis is an aquatic form, is dioecious. What is meant by dioecious? Dioecious means what? The male and female organs are separated. Means male male one is individual and female is also individual. Means their reproduction is sexual type and their body is separated. Means both the organs, female and male organs is not present in single body. Means they are having individual appearance, like male is different and female is different, so it is called as dioecious. Nereis is an aquatic form, it is dioecious, but earthworm and leeches are monoecious. What is meant by monoecious? Monoecious means both the sex organs are present in single organism, so it is called as monoecious. Here aquatic form Nereis is dioecious, but earthworm and leeches are monoecious. Reproduction is sexual. So what happened in earthworm and leeches? Both the sex organs is present in single individual, and they used to release the gametes like sperms and eggs from same body, and sexual reproduction takes place. In Nereis they are dioecious, means both the sex organs are different in different persons, in different individuals, so they are dioecious, but reproduction is sexual. So they may ask question about uh, Nereis, that aquatic form is dioecious. They may confuse you, Nereis is dioecious one or monoecious one or both or none of this. So you have to click on they are dioecious, and you have to keep in mind earthworms and leeches are monoecious. So they carry out sexual reproduction. The next is examples. Examples from here you have to keep in mind about Nereis, it is an aquatic form. Then Ferritima is also called as earthworm. Ferritima, earthworm. Hirudina, blood sucking leech. Why it is called as blood sucking leech? Whenever these leeches are applied on human body, wherever, in thigh or in hand or in limbs, wherever this leech we apply on our skin, this leech sucks out blood from our body, so it is called as blood sucking leech. We are very familiar about earthworm. Earthworm is also called as Ferritima. So they may confuse you in these examples because kingdom Animalia contains many of the examples. So you have to keep in mind examples from various phylums, and you have to go through it. So examples are Nereis. Nereis is also called as aquatic annelids. Ferritima, earthworm. Hirudina, blood-sucking leech. And earthworm and leech are monoecious. Nereis is dioecious. Next, let's revise this. They are aquatic, terrestrial, free living, and sometimes parasitic. They exhibit organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical. They are triploblastic, made up of 3 germinal layers, metamerically segmented body. This is the main feature of Annelida. They are coelomate animals made up of true coelom, means they are having middle layer made up of mesodermally originated organisms. Their body surface is distinctly marked into segments or metamers, hence the phylum name is Annelida. Why the name is Annelida? Because their body is marked by segments or metamers, hence the name Annelida. Next is they possess longitudinal and circular muscle. This longitudinal and circular muscle help in locomotion, and aquatic annelids like Nereis having lateral appendage in the form of parapodia which help in swimming. So longitudinal and circular muscle help in locomotion, and this parapodia in Nereis help in swimming. Then they possess closed circulatory system. Next is nephridia is useful for osmoregulation and excretion. Next, they having well developed neural system, in that they consist of paired ganglia, and this paired ganglia is connected by lateral nerves to the double ventral nerve cord. Then Nereis is an aquatic form that is dioecious, but earthworm and leeches are monoecious. Reproduction is sexual, and examples are Nereis, aquatic annelid, Phaetima, earthworm, Hirudina, blood-sucking leech. Next, in figure 4.11, see the examples and keep in mind, see the structure of this organism. They may confuse you. Identify the given diagram. So you have to you must know about how that Nereis look, Hirudina look. So let's see. The A diagram is Nereis, which is aquatic annelid, and Hirudina is blood-sucking leech. So see the metameric segmentation on their body parts. This is the main feature of Annelida. Phylum Arthropoda. Arthro means what? It is jointed appendages. So let's learn about Arthropoda. This is the largest phylum of Animalia, which include insects. So keep in mind that it is the largest phylum of this kingdom Animalia, and it includes insects. Over two-thirds of all named species on earth are arthropods. So the two-thirds all named species on the earth are arthropods, means what? Out of 3, 2% it is arthropod, means our species on earth, they are two-thirds are arthropods. Then it is the largest phylum. Next is they have organ system level of organization. So they are having organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical. You know about bilateral symmetry, means what? Whenever we passes a plane between the body, it divides into two equal halves while passing a single plane. So it is called as bilateral symmetrical animals. Then they are triploblastic. What is meant by triploblastic? Triploblastic means they are made up of 3 germinal layers: inner one endoderm, middle one mesoderm, and outer one ectoderm. So it is made up of 3 germinal layers. So it is called as triploblastic animals. Segmented and coelomate animals. So earlier in annelids we have seen they were showing metameric segmentation, and here the body is segmented. And coelomate animals, coelomate means what? They are having true coelom, and they are derived from mesodermal origin, and they are having 3 germinal layers, and middle one is mesoderm, and mesoderm is having true coelom, and it is called as coelomate animals. Next is the body of arthropod is covered by chitinous endoskeleton. This is the most important point from phylum Arthropoda, that their body is covered by chitinous endoskeleton. Chitinous endoskeleton means what? somewhat it is tough and shiny. So let's look in diagram and let's remember about examples of arthropoda. First one, they are showing a locust, second is butterfly, third is scorpion, and last is prawn. So let's see their body from dorsal side. So it is covered by chitinous endoskeleton. What is meant by chitinous endoskeleton? It is somewhat tough. Let's remember, we have seen these prawns. This prawns is having a hard toughest covering on their body, so it is called as chitinous covering, and hence chitinous endoskeleton. The next is, the body consists of head, thorax and abdomen. So look at the figure given here 4.12 in locust. So they are having head, thorax and abdomen. In scorpion it is more visible. We are having head, thorax and abdomen. We can see clearly. So they are having jointed appendages. They have jointed appendages. Jointed means what? Arthros means joint, poda means appendages. So the phylum is Arthropoda, joint appendages. Then respiratory organs are gills, book lungs or tracheal system. So in aquatic forms, their respiration is carried out by gills and sometimes book gills, and in well developed arthropods they are having lungs and sometimes in tracheal system. So the respiratory organs are gills, book lungs and tracheal system. Next is circulatory system is open type. We have seen circulatory system has given two types, closed type and open type. In open type, whenever the heart pumps the blood, it directly pours the blood into the whole body, or blood is poured on the organs or cells or tissue directly without any tube or without any capillary or artery, veins, etc. So the blood directly poured on the cells and tissues, and cells and tissues and organs are brought into that blood. It is called as open type of circulatory system. So open type of circulatory system is shown by arthropoda. Then sensory organs like antennae, eyes, compound or and simple statocytes or balancing organs are present. So here sensory organs like antennae. We are knowing about antennae. See the examples of arthropoda in figure 4.12. See first, that is locust. They are having above the eye, means there is a socket of eye. From that socket this antenna arises. See, these two antenna are shown in diagram 4.12. First one locust. Next, in butterfly also you can see two antennae arises from this orbits of eye. This is compound or simple. They may be compound and simple. So see, in prawns also this antennae we can see clearly. Most clearly antennae can be seen from this locust. See, we are having two antennae arising from the orbits of eye, and this antennae works as a sensory organ in this insects, means in this arthropodas. And eyes are having compound and simple type or statocytes. They are having balancing organs are present. Statocyte is also called as a balancing organs in arthropoda. Next is excretion takes place through Malpighian tubules. We are in human beings, in kidney we are having millions of nephrons, and this nephron is used for osmoregulation and excretion. So same somewhat here, the excretion takes place through Malpighian tubules. Malpighian tubules is seen in these insects, and this helps for excretion purpose. They are mostly dioecious. What is meant by dioecious? Both the sex organs are present in different individual, means they are called as dioecious. Then fertilization is usually internal. They are mostly oviparous. Oviparous means what? They lay eggs, so they are called as oviparous. And what is meant by viviparous? Viviparous means what? The young ones directly give birth, it is called as viviparous. And oviparous means what? Oviparous means the organism which lay egg, it is called as oviparous organisms. Fertilization is usually internal and they are mostly oviparous. Oviparous means what? The organism which lay egg, it is called as oviparous. Egg laying ones, egg laying insects are called as oviparous, and their development may be direct or indirect. So from each phylum you have to write that what is development in particular phylum, and you have to keep in mind this, that arthropoda is development is direct or indirect. Next is examples. Economically important insects. Examples in arthropoda are given about economically important insects, then vectors, then mosquitoes, etc. are shown here. So economically important insects are apis, is also called as honeybee, bombyx is also called as silkworm, lacifer, lac insect. So they are given three examples of economically important insect. This is apis called as honeybee, bombyx, silkworm, lacifer, lac insects. So you have to learn by heart this, like apis honeybee, bombyx silkworm, lacifer, lac insect. Then we are going to learn about vectors. In that, Anopheles, Culex and Aedes, these are the types of mosquito, and these are called as vectors. What is meant by vectors? Vectors means they carry particular infection to human beings. Means what? This mosquito are having somewhat infection, and when they bite to the human being, they work as a vector, means they used to infect a living ones, so they are called as vectors. Anopheles, Culex and Aedes are the vectors, and these are the types of mosquitoes. Next is gregarious pest, locust, also called as locusta. You have to keep in mind these are all the examples of kingdom arthropoda, phylum arthropoda. So they may ask a question from anywhere. They may ask like gregarious pest is of which phylum, so you must know it is of arthropoda. Then gregarious pest means what? Locusta or locust. We have seen a diagram of locust earlier. See figure 4.12. In that A diagram, this is called as locust and name is gregarious pest. Next is living fossil, limulus, or also called as king crab. Living fossil, limulus. So let's revise the examples. Economically important insects, they are having three examples like apis, honeybee, bombyx, silkworm, lacifer, lac insect. In the form of vectors, they are Anopheles, Culex and Aedes. These are all mosquitoes. Anopheles, Culex and Aedes. Next is gregarious pest, also called as locusta or locust. Living fossil, limulus, king crab. Limulus and king crab, it is a living fossil. So let's revise this phylum arthropoda. This is the largest phylum of Animalia, and it consists of insect, and 2/3 of all named species on earth are arthropods. They exhibit organ system level of organization. Then they are bilateral symmetrical, they are triploblastic, segmented and coelomate animals. Then they are having covered chitinous endoskeleton, and they consist of head, thorax, abdomen. They have jointed appendages, so the name is arthropoda. Arthro means what? Joint. Poda means appendages, hence jointed appendages. Respiratory organs are gills, book lungs or tracheal system. Then circulatory system is open type. Sensory organs like antennae, eyes, stetocytes or balancing organs are present. Next is Malpighian tubules help for excretion. This is most important line. Malpighian tubules help for excretion. They are mostly dioecious. Fertilization is usually internal and they are oviparous and development is direct or may be indirect. Then examples economically important insects apis, honeybee, bombyx, silkworm, lacifer, lac insect. Vectors like Anopheles, Culex, Aedes are types of mosquitoes. Gregarious pest, Locusta or locust, living fossil, Limulus and king crab. So see once again diagram of locust. Next is butterfly, scorpion and prawns. Phylum Mollusca. Phylum Mollusca is the second largest animal phylum. Then mollusca are terrestrial, aquatic, marine or freshwater, having organ system level of organization. They are terrestrial also means living on land. They are aquatic means living on water, and they exhibit organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical means what? Whenever we passes a plane in between the body, it divides into two equal halves in single plane, so it is called as bilateral symmetrical animals. They are triploblastic. You are knowing about triploblastic mean they exhibit three germinal layer. Inner one is endoderm, middle one is mesoderm and outer one is ectoderm. Hence the organism is called as triploblastic means what? Three germinal layers, made up of three germinal layers, hence triploblastic. And coelomate animals. Coelomate animals, they possess true coelom means they are having middle layer made up of mesoderm and they are mesodermally derived animals, so it is a coelomates. Then the body is covered by calcareous shell and is unsegmented with distinct head, muscular foot and visceral hub. Most important point from phylum Mollusca is their body is covered by calcareous shell. So see the examples figure 4.13. In that first one pila is given and B1 is octopus. So see their body is covered by calcareous shell. Somewhat we are seeing this whitish color is covered, so it is called as calcareous shell and is unsegmented means they are not having segmentation on their body parts and they are having distinct head, muscular foot and visceral hump. Their body is divided into three parts, that is head, muscular foot and visceral hump. A soft and spongy layer of skin forms a mantle over the visceral hump. So see, they are having a visceral hump. A soft and spongy layer of skin over the mantle over the skin forms a mantle over the visceral hump. So see in octopus, see below there they show a visceral hump and that visceral hump, soft and spongy layer of skin forms a mantle. From visceral hump, see this from downward, in downward direction, they show a soft and spongy layer of mantle and mantle over a visceral hump, and see the body is divided into head, muscular foot and visceral hump. See in figure number A, pila. So from above it is head, then muscular foot and visceral hump, and it shows a spongy layer forms a mantle over the visceral hump. Next is the space between hump and mantle is called as mantle cavity. So see in pila we can see a cavity between between hump and mantle, so it is called as mantle cavity, in which feather-like gills are present. So in hump and mantle there is a mantle cavity, in that feather-like gills are present. The next is they have respiratory and circulatory, so they have respiratory and excretory functions. The anterior head region has sensory tentacles, so the head region are having sensory tentacles. The mouth contains file-like rasping organs for feeding called radula. Radula is a rasping organ or feeding, and it is called as radula. The mouth contains file-like rasping organ for feeding is called as radula. Then next is they usually dioecious and oviparous with indirect development. Dioecious means what? Both the sex organs are present in different individual. They are oviparous means egg-laying animals, and indirect development. So the examples of this are Pila, apple snail. Pila is also called as apple snail. Pink tada, pearl oyster. Pink tada, pearl oyster. Sepia, cuttlefish. Sepia, cuttlefish. Loligo, squid. Loligo, squid. Octopus, devilfish. Octopus, devilfish. Aplysia, sea hare. Aplysia, sea hare. Dentalium tusk shell. Dentalium tusk shell. Clitopleura chiton. Clitopleura chiton. These are the examples of this phylum. So you have to keep in mind they are having a large number of examples. So learn by heart, like Pila, apple snail, pink tada, pearl oyster, sepia, cuttlefish, loligo, squid. Octopus is also called as devilfish. Aplysia, sea hare. Dentalium tusk shell. Clitopleura chiton. So these are the examples. Let's revise this phylum Mollusca. It is also called as a largest phylum of animal phylum. Then mollusca, they are terrestrial, aquatic, maybe marine or freshwater. They are having organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical animals, triploblastic, coelomate animals. The body is covered by calcareous shell and unsegmented with head, muscular foot and visceral hump. So keep in mind they are having head, muscular foot and visceral hump. A spongy layer of skin forms a mantle over the visceral hump. The space between this visceral hump and mantle is called as mantle cavity, and from this mantle cavity feather-like gills arises. So they are having respiratory and excretory functions. The anterior head has sensory tentacles. The mouth contains file-like rasping organs for feeding is called as radula. They may ask a question like file-like rasping organ for feeding is present in which phylum, that is mollusca, and it is called as radula is present in mollusca, and radula is file-like rasping organ situated in mouth for feeding purpose. So this is the most important point from this mollusca. They are having file-like rasping organ for feeding and is called as radula. Then next is they are usually dioecious and they are egg-laying animals. So it is called as oviparous, and development is indirect. Examples are pila, apple snail, pink tada, pearl oyster, sepia, cuttlefish, loligo, squid, octopus, devilfish, aplysia, sea hare, dentalium tusk shell and clitopleura chiton. So see the figure. A is figure 4.313. A is pila, and pila is also called as apple snail, and B is octopus. Octopus is also called as devilfish. It is a devilfish. Both are aquatic. The next is phylum Echinodermata. These animals have endoskeleton of calcareous ossicles and hence the name Echinodermata. So why the name Echinodermata is given? Because the endoskeleton have calcareous ossicles, hence the name is Echinodermata. Spiny bodied organisms. See in figure 4.14 they are given the examples of Echinodermata. A is Asterisk, is also called as starfish. Ophiuria is also called as beetle star. So see the diagram. A1 is Asterisk, so it look like star, so it is called as starfish. Then next is B1 Ophiuria, it is a brittle star. So keep in mind they will confuse you and they will give the diagrams and they will say identify the diagram. Both look like star but there is difference. Asterisk is called as starfish and Ophiura it is a brittle star. So A1 is Asterisk and B1 is Ophiura. So keep in mind and see all the diagram carefully. They are most important for exam point of view. The next is they are marine. They are marine and organ system level of organization, and they are having organ system level of organization and marine habitat. The adult echinoderms are radial symmetrical but the larvae are bilateral symmetrical. The most important point from this phylum Echinodermata is in adult echinoderms they are showing radial symmetry. So they may ask a question from this symmetry. They may ask about Echinodermata is having which kind of symmetry. So keep in mind adults are having radial symmetry and larvae are having bilateral symmetry. Larvae is a new one, means what? Whenever this Echinodermata gives birth to the young ones, so it is called as larva. Larva means a new organism, and adult one is having radial symmetry. So this larva is having bilateral symmetry and adult is having radial symmetry. You know very well about radial symmetry. Radial symmetry, when we passes a plane between the body, it divides into two equal halves in any plane. And in bilateral symmetry, whenever we passes a plane between the body, it divides into two equal halves with only one single plane, so it is called as bilateral symmetry. So keep in mind adults are having radial symmetry and larva is having bilateral symmetry, and they are triploblastic. You know about triploblastic, made up of three germinal layers: ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Ectoderm is outer one, endoderm is middle one, and endoderm is inner one, and mesoderm is middle one. So they are triploblastic. And coelomate animals means they are having true layer of mesoderm. Mesoderm truly is made up of mesoderm, middle layer is made up of mesoderm, so they are called coelomate animals. Next is digestive system is complete with mouth and lower ventral side and anus on upper dorsal side. So they are having complete digestive system and mouth is present on lower ventral side and anus on upper dorsal side. So see, we can see in diagram 4.14, see A1 asterisk, we can see the body from above. So above part is dorsal and below means backside part it is a ventral. So keep in mind in this all the insects and in all the insects and all the organism which we can see above body parts it is the dorsal side and which lies below it is ventral side. So from above body part there is dorsal side anus is present and ventrally from lower side mouth is present. So they are having complete digestive system with mouth on lower side means ventral side and on upper side anus. Then the most distinctive feature of echinoderms is the presence of water vascular system which helps in locomotion, capture and transport of food and respiration. So you have to keep in mind they are having water vascular system which help in locomotion, capture and transport of food and respiration. So you may remember that in phylum Porifera, means phylum of sponges, they were showing water canal system. So they were showing water canal system, and Echinodermata are showing water vascular system. So keep in mind that in exam time they will confuse you that water vascular system is present in Echinodermata, Porifera, both or none of this. So the most correct answer is echinodermata is having water vascular system. So don't get confused with that water vascular system and water canal system. Water canal system is present in phylum Porifera, and water vascular system is given in echinodermata, and this is a distinctive feature of this echinoderms, and this is water vascular system help in locomotion, capture, transport of food and respiration. Then next is and excretory system is absent in echinodermata. You have to keep in mind excretory system is absent. Sexes are separate, means they are dioecious. Reproduction is sexual, and fertilization is usually external. What is meant by external fertilization? Means the female releases eggs, and after that male releases sperms in water. So it is called as external fertilization. The fertilization away from the body, means not in body, it is called as external fertilization. And development is indirect with free swimming larva. Development is indirect with free swimming larva. Then the examples are asterisk. Asterisk is also called as starfish, given in diagram. A1 is asterisk, it look like star, so it is called as starfish. Next is echinus. Echinus is also called as sea urchin, antedon, sea lily, cucumaria, sea cucumber, ophiura, brittle star. So asterisk starfish, echinus sea urchin, echinus sea urchin, antedon sea lily, antedon sea lily, cucumaria sea cucumber, cucumaria sea cucumber, and ophiura beetle star. Ophiura beetle star. Let's revise phylum Echinodermata. They are having endoskeleton of or calcareous ossicles, and they are marine with organ system level of organization. They are having radial symmetry in adults, and in larva there is bilateral symmetry. So keep in mind, adult shows radial symmetry and larva shows bilateral symmetry. They are triploblastic coelomate animals. Digestive system is complete with mouth on lower side, and on upper dorsal side there is anus. They most distinctive feature of the echinoderm is they are having water vascular system which help in locomotion, transport, capture and respiration. Excretory system is totally absent. Sexes are separate. Reproduction is sexual. Fertilization is external, and development is indirect with free swimming larva. Examples are asterisk starfish, echinus sea urchin, antedon sea lily, cucumaria sea cucumber, and ophiura brittle star.